Good morning sa ating mga viewers, sa ating live streaming, sa ating YouTube channel. Good morning po sa lahat. The Bids and Awards Committee, back meeting for today, January 12, 2024 is now called to order. Before we proceed, may we request our Head Back Secretariat, Engineer Arnel Portales, to kindly read the rules of attendance as well as the agenda of today's private conference.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Okay, our attendance for today's meeting for the private conference of contract ID number 23EF0125 to 23EF0131, January 12, 2024. Sir Ronald Supanga, back Vice Chairman.
Present.
Ma'am Maria P. Cayaw, back member.
Present.
Ma'am Merly Ayayo, back member.
Present.
And Sir Julius Kakacha, back member.
Present, sir.
Back Secretariat, yours truly, Arnel Portales. And our agenda of pre-bid conference today for contract ID number 23F0125, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Iwahig, Bataraza, Palawan. 23EF0126, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Labog in Sofronio, Española, Palawan. 23EF0127, construction of multipurpose building at Brgy.Malinao in Narra, Palawan. And 23EF0128, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Panacan 1 in Narra, Palawan. Construction of 23EF0129, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Salogon in Brooke, Palawan. 23EF0130, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Swoangan and Quezon, Palawan. And 23F0131, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Tarusan in Bataraza, Palawan. Number one agenda, presentation, explanation by back of the following. Letter A, basic contract data including contract description, ABC, and duration. And letter B, requirements of bidding documents, including instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, specifications, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. Letter C, documents to be submitted by the bidders. Under that letter C, we have one technical component envelope. We have, under Class A documents, we have legal documents, technical documents, financial documents, and letter B, Class B documents. Under that letter C, we have number 2, financial component envelope. Under that number 2, we have A, financial bid form, letter B, bid prices in the BOQ, letter C, detailed estimate, and letter D, cash flow by quarter. Under that number 1 number 1 agenda, we have letter D, criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. And number 2 agenda, we have questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. Number 3, summary proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued. And number 4, other matters. That's all, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much, Engineer Arnel Portales, our Head Back Secretariat. So, yun nga po, gaya ng nabanggit ni Engineer Portales, meron tayong 4 na agenda. The first agenda is the brief presentation, explanation by the back of the following. Under that, i-discuss po isa-isa yung mga basic contract data ng mga projects na for bidding on bidding nito. On January 25, 2024, i-discuss din po yung mga documents na kailangan i-submit ng ating mga bidder. Then, yung mga i-discuss din yung criteria at procedure sa pag-check ng inyong mga bids. So, under the brief presentation for the basic contract data, I will be discussing the contract description, ABC, and the duration. Lahat naman po ito ay makikita sa ating invitation to bid. Just in case you need further clarification or meron kayong mga gustong i-review ng mga data, please refer na lang po sa ating invitation to bid. So ito pong 7 projects na ito, supposedly 14 projects po ito, funded under FY 2023, RA 11936, regular 2023 current and program appropriation. Mga late release projects po ito. 14 projects po ito. Out of 14 projects, yung 7 po ay nakapag-conduct na po tayo ng pre-bid conference. So ito po yung remaining na 7 projects yung ating ipi-pre-bid ngayong araw. Typical po ang program, typical din ang plano. So hindi ko na po isa-isahin para mabilis. Ito po ay mga multipurpose building. Ang unang contract po, contract ID 23EF0125. Ang contract name po nito ay Construction of Multipurpose Building at Barangay Iwahig. This contract is located at Bataraza, Palawan. The second contract is 23EF0126. The contract name is Construction of Multipurpose Building at Barangay Labog. This contract is located at Sofronio, Española, Palawan. Then the third contract is the contract ID 23EF0127. The name of the contract is Construction of Multipurpose Building at Brgy.Malinao. The contract location is at Narra, Palawan. The next contract is 23EF0128. The contract name is Construction of Multipurpose Building at Barangay Panacan 1. The contract location is at Narra, Palawan. And the next contract is 23EF0129. The contract name is Construction of Multipurpose Building at Barangay Salogon. This contract is located at Brooke, Palawan. The next contract is 23EF0130. The construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Swoangan. This contract is located at Quezon, Palawan. And for the last contract, contract ID 23EF0131. The contract name is Construction of Multipurpose Building at Barangay Tarusan. This contract is located at Bataraza, Palawan. So yan po ang 7 contracts na aming pinipribid ngayong araw. So gaya po nung nabanggit ko kanina, typical po ito, the same funding. So the same rin ang kanilang ABC, the same ang source of fund, ang contract duration, ang cost of bidding documents, tsaka yung pick-up license requirements. Pare-pareho po ito, typical. So, ang brief description po ng mga contracts na ito, it is a construction of 10 meters by 20 meters. 2-story building with 3 meters by 5 meters entrance porch. 2-story po ang building natin gagawin. May sukat siya na 20 meters by 10 by 20 meters. The building consists of multipurpose hall, 2 offices, records office, stock room, toilets, 2 quarters, 3 chambered septic vault. Meron din siyang mga furnitures. Meron siyang CCTV system. Works also includes concrete parking space at the front and 2 solar post light. The approved budget for the contract, each project po ito meron siyang ABC na 9,900,000 pesos. Gaya po nang nabanggit ko kanina, ang source of fund para sa 7 projects na ito po ay funded under FY 2023, RA 11936, regular 2023 current, or yung unprogrammed appropriations. The contract duration for each project is 150 calendar days. And the cost of bidding documents, each project is 10,000 pesos. And the pickup license requirement sa mga prospective bidder na gustong sumali ay kailangang small B. So that's all with regards to the basic contract data. We now proceed to the next topic, the requirements of bidding documents. Ito po yung mga documents na ibibigay namin sa inyo kasama ng ibang mga bidding documents upon payment ng applicable fee. Ito po ay i-discuss ni Engineer Marife Cayo.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
These are the requirements of bidding documents, which include instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, specifications, drawing, bill of quantities, and forms. For the instruction to bidders, the bidders must submit their technical and financial components sealed envelope into one big envelope. All interested bidders may acquire a complete set of bidding documents at Procurement Unit Office, Back Building, DPWH, Palawan 2nd DEO, Narra, Palawan, upon payment of applicable fee for the bidding documents, pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount stated by BAC Vice Chairman Engineer Ronald Supanga and the basic contract data, or it may also be downloaded free of charge from DPWH website www.dpwh.gov.ph and from Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System or PhilGEP's website www.philgeps.gov.ph, provided that the bidder shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than bid submissions. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for preparation and submission of electronic bid are obtained in the bidding documents. Bids must be received by the BAC Secretariat through the DPWH Building 2nd floor, back room, Narra, Palawan, for manual submission, or at electronic bids, Palawan 2 at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission. All bids must be accompanied by the bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 16. For bid submission, the contractor's representative shall submit a copy of Contractor's Registration Certificate or CRC or Special Power of Attorney together with government-issued ID. Bid opening shall be on January 25, 2024, 10 a.m. at DPWH Building, 2nd floor, back room, Narra, Palawan. Bid will be opened in the presence of bidders' representatives who choose to attend the activity. Late bids shall not be accepted. For the general conditions of the contract or the JCC, the purpose is to provide standard terms and provisions of the contract applicable in all contracts in general without detailed information and data specific to the contract at hand. The GCC defines the contractual requirements and obligations of both the procuring entity and the contractor at hand. For the application of the procuring entity, we have to provide you with the plans, inspections, and tests. For the contractor's obligation is to carry out works per contract in accordance with the plans and specification within contract duration. The contractor shall employ the key personnel indicating their designation in accordance with ITB Clause 10.3 as specified in the PDS to carry out the supervision of works. The procuring entity will approve any proposed replacement of any key personnel only if their relevant qualifications and abilities are equal to or better than those of the personnel listed in the schedule. And the last is the posting of performance security. We shall guarantee the contractor's performance of its contract obligations up to the certificate of acceptance after the defects liability period upon submission of the required warranty security if acceptable. The performance security shall also guarantee the recoupment of any advance payment. It must be posted in favor of the procuring entity and shall be forfeited in the latter's favor if it is established that the winning bidder is in default in any of its obligations under the contract. The GCC shall remain unchanged. Kaya meron tayong special conditions of contract or the SCC. The purpose is to provide contract-specific information in relation to the corresponding clauses in the general conditions of the contract. The SCC shall specify contractual requirements linked to the special circumstances of the procuring entity and works procured. Some contents of the SCC are the intended completion start date, required description of works, type of structures, warranty period, amount, and schedule of advance payment. Contractors' key personnel, equipment, and requirements are stated in the bid data sheets. For the specifications shall reflect necessary minimum requirements. It should promote the broadest possible competition whilst assuring structural integrity and performance of the infrastructure. For DPWH contracts, DPWH standard specifications for public works and highways or Blue Book. It shall be the basis standards to be met by the materials and works to be performed. Since ang project natin ito ay buildings, meron tayong volume 3. Standard pay items in the PCNA is used. Modifications in DPWH standard specifications shall be special provisions of the contract at hand. For the drawings, ito po yung ating plano. It varies with the type and nature of contract and works involved. It represents in accordance with accepted national and international standards and practices for infrastructure contracts based on detailed engineering. It's form part of design outputs. It consists of layouts, plans, profiles, elevations, sections, site location, and perspective in sufficient detail and scale, complemented by specs to enable the bidder or the contractor to gain clear, accurate presentation of required works. It is also a reference or guide in the implementation of the project. For the Bill of Quantities or the BOQ, the purpose is to provide sufficient information on the quantities of works to be performed under contract at hand, to enable the bidder to prepare bids efficiently and accurately. Yung BOQ po natin ay may 6 columns. Columns 1 to 4 is to be filled up by the procuring entity, and columns 5 to 6 to be filled up by the bidder. The bidder shall not change the entries under pay item, which is in column 1, description in column 2, unit in column 3, and quantity in column 4, which are set by the procuring entity for each item in the BOQ. The bidder shall indicate its unit bid price in words and in figures in column 5, and its total bid price in column 6. The DPWH will check your submitted BOQ from posted BOQ. Any discrepancy in your submitted BOQ is modification of bidding documents, and it is patently insufficient. For the forms, lahat ng ating forms ay standard and updated at lahat ng ating requirements ng bidding documents na ito ay nakapost sa PhilJeps at DPWH website na pwede niyo po i-download for free. That's all, Mr. Vice Chairman, for the requirements of bidding documents.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Engineer Marife Cayaw. So let's now proceed to the next topic under the first agenda. The next topic is the documents to be submitted by the bidders, to be discussed by Ma'am Merly Ayalo.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, and good morning, everyone. So, here are the documents to be submitted by the bidders for these 7 projects. Contract ID 23EF0125 to Contract ID 23EF0131. For technical component envelope, we have what you call the Class A documents and, if applicable, Class B documents. Under po sa Class A documents, we have the legal, technical, and financial documents. So, what are the documents under legal? Ito po ang dapat nyo i-submit. Number 1, valid PhilJeps registration certificate, platinum membership, complete in 3 pages. Number 2, registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Department of Trade and Industry, DTI, for sole proprietorship, or Cooperative Development Authority, CDA, for cooperatives or its equivalent document. Number 3, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidders is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas, tax clearance per Executive Order Number 398 Series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So, for technical documents, ito po ang dapat i-submit. Number 1, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Number 2, statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Number 3, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board, PCAB license, or special PCAB license in case of joint ventures, and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. Number 4, original copy of bid security. If in the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. And number 5, project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, List of contractors' key personnel such as project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. List of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. And also a list of materials testing equipment or apparatus or certification from head of technical working group as proof na ang inyong pong material testing equipment ay complete na at na-inspect na po ng technical working group. And number 6, original duly signed omnibus term statement, and if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to each officer to sign the omnibus term statement and do acts to represent the bidder. For financial documents, ito po ang dapat isubmit. Number 1, the prospective bidder's audited financial statements showing among others the prospective bidder's total and current assets and liabilities stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. And number 2, the prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity, NFCC. For Class B documents, if applicable lang po ito, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with Republic Act number 4566 and its implementing rules and regulation in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the joint venture agreement in the instance that the bid is successful. So, for financial component envelope naman po, ito ang dapat isubmit. Number 1, original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Number 2, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantity. Number 3, duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rental used in coming up with a bid. And number 4, cash flow by quarter. So, paalala lang po sa lahat ng mga interested bidders, dapat po ang inyong mga documents to be submitted must be filled out completely in clear copies, readable, paginated, and duly signed by the bidder. Any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient document and the above-mentioned checklist is a ground for outright rejection of your bid. So, that's all, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Brgy. Let's now proceed to the next topic under the first agenda. The criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, the post-qualification and award to be discussed by Engineer Julius Kakatsa.
Good morning, Vice Chair, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
These are the criteria and procedures for examination and evaluation of bid proposals. First is the eligibility check. Second is the preliminary examination of bids. Next is the detailed evaluation of bids, the post-qualification, and the award. First is the eligibility check. This is a simultaneous processing of electronic eligibility and manual checking of submitted legal, technical, and financial documents. The manual checking is a non-discretionary pass or fail or presence in absence of required documents. Any missing or expired documents means ineligible. The bids and award committee will check manually the submitted legal and financial documents such as the PhilJEP Certificate of Registration, SEC, DTI or CDA registration, Mayor's and Business Permit, and Tax Clearance Certificate per Executive Order Number 398, Series of 2005. The financial documents such as audited financial statement and computation of financial contracting capacity or the NFCC. The PhilJEP registration should be valid and platinum membership, complete in 3 pages, and all documents must be updated. Missing or expired documents means failed or ineligible in manual eligibility. For the electronic checking, the authorized administrator will process the electronic eligibility of the bidders using the system provided for CWA or the Civil Works application. This is a database of contractors' legal, financial, and technical information. All bona fide contractors who wish to do business with the department are encouraged to enroll to the registry. The bank will receive a copy of the electronic eligibility showing results of pass or fail and the legal, financial, and technical aspects. Failed results to any aspect means ineligible and electronic eligibility. The second criteria is the preliminary examination of bids. This is the opening of the first envelope or the technical documents. The bank shall open the first envelope to determine the bidder's compliance or eligibility, technical and financial documents required as prescribed in IRR 9184 against the checklist to ascertain that they are present using the non-discretionary criterion as stated in the instruction to bidders. If a bidder submitted the required documents, it shall be rated passed for that particular requirement. Bids that fail to include any requirement or are incomplete or patently insufficient shall be rated as failed. Any missing document means failed or automatically disqualified. The statement of the prospective bidder of all ongoing government and private contracts, including awarded contract but not yet started, should be declared and filled up in the prescribed format. The certification of compliance of laboratory equipments issued by the head of the technical working group must be present. In case of new contractors, proof of ownership or purchase must be attached. The laboratory equipments must be company-owned, neither rented or leased. The omnibus zone statement of the OSS must be complete in 10 statements, and failure to comply with these requirements should also result to the outright disqualification of your bid proposal. Next is the opening of the second envelope, the financial documents. Same as with the first envelope, non-discretionary pass or fail criteria or presence in absence of documents. Any missing documents means failed. if present means passed. After determining compliance in the first envelope and rated passed, the box shall open the second envelope. For bidders whose first envelopes were rated failed, their second envelope will not be opened. It will be returned to the bidder or any authorized representative unopened. In case any of the requirements in the second envelope is missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient, and or if the submitted total bid price exceeds the ABC, shall be rated failed. The ABC shall be the upper limit or ceiling for the prices. Only bids that contain all bid requirements or both components shall be rated passed. The above item is in opening and preliminary stage. The next criteria is the detailed evaluation of bids of the technical working group. The detailed evaluation of the bid that was opened, read, and rated pass. The purpose is to determine the lowest calculated bid or the LCB. This is to establish correct calculated prices of bids and ranking calculated total bid from lowest to highest. The criteria is the completeness of bid. It will be checked, and all blanks in bid form must be properly filled up. The BAC TWG will check all required items in bidding documents. That includes the following. First is the unit price or cost of item of the BOQ in column 5 and 6. Placing no price is considered as non-responsive, while specifying is zero or dash means it is offered for free and it's responsive. Second is the minor arithmetical correction in case of discrepancies between the bid price versus the bid prices in words. The bid prices in words will prevail. The total price per item versus the unit price per item quantity, the unit price per item quantity will prevail. The stated total price versus the total sum of prices of component items, the total sum of prices of component items will prevail. The unit cost in the detailed estimate versus the unit price in the BOQ, the unit cost in the BOQ will prevail. The next criteria is the post-qualification of the technical working group to determine whether the bidder with the lowest calculated bid complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions of eligibility, and the bidding of the contract to be declared the lowest calculated responsive bid. This is the verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, including the single largest completed contract or the SLCC, similar to the contract being procured. The verification of competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the contract as against the minimum requirements under the bid data sheet. If proposed key personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the same time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract. He or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office pursuant to Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012. The proposed key personnel and replacement must be named in the bidding document. The verification of availability and commitment and all inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of major equipments to be owned, leased, under purchased by the bidder for the use in the contract under bidding. The technical working group will conduct verification to all government and private offices to validate the performance of the bidder of its all ongoing and awarded projects with the lowest calculated bid. If any of these contracts shows a reported negative slippage of at least 15% in a single contract, or a reported negative slippage of at least 10% in the two or more contracts, failure of the contractor to commence repair works on ongoing contract within 7 days and to complete them within 30 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. The failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificate of acceptance within 30 days and to complete the works within 90 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures. The substandard quality of works as per contract and specifications. The unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. The liquidated damages currently imposed on the contract and the result of the contractor's performance evaluation system, or the CPAS, should also be considered by the concerned BAC in determining the responsiveness of the contractor's bid before any award of the contract can take place, as stated in item 12.5, Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. To the legal aspect, the authenticity and validity of licenses, permits, certificates, and agreements submitted, and if the bidder is not included to the list of the blacklisted contractors. If the BAC determines that the bidder with the lowest calculated bid or higher rated bid passes all the criteria for the post-qualification, it shall be declared the said bid as the lowest calculated responsive bid. The BAC shall then recommend to the head of the procuring entity the awarding of contract to the bidder with the lowest calculated and responsive bid. The HOPE shall approve or disapprove the recommendations of the BAC within a period not exceeding 7 calendar days from the termination and declaration of the BAC of the LCRB. Failure of bidding shall only be declared if no bids are received, all prospective bidders are declared ineligible, all bids fail to comply with all the bid requirement, or fail post-qualification, or the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive bid refuses without justifiable cause. That's all, Vice Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Julius Kakancha. So we now proceed to the next agenda for questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representative of procuring entity. So meron po bang katanungan ang ating mga contractors? Hearing none. So I guess everything was well said. All topics was very well discussed by our BAC members. So let's proceed to the next topic. To sum up the proceedings for today's pre-bid conference, for the first agenda, the brief presentation and explanation of the BAC. The BAC members discussed each topic. For the basic contract data was discussed by yours truly. For the requirements of bidding documents, these are the documents that needs to be included in your bidding proposals. It was clearly discussed by Ma'am Marife Cayao. And the next topic is the documents to be submitted by the bidders. Ito po yung mga documents na dapat nilalaman ng inyong mga envelope. Yung inyong dalawang envelope, yung technical component at financial component. Lahat po ito ay na-discuss isa-isa ni Ma'am Merly Ayayo. And for the last topic under the first agenda, the criteria and procedures sa pag-check, pag-eligibility check, tsaka yung mga procedures sa pag-i-examine ng inyong mga bids, procedures na ginagawa sa pag-i-evaluate ng inyong mga bidding, yung mga post-qualification procedures, at saka yung sa procedures ng pag-award. Lahat po ito ay isa-isa ni Engineer Kakatsa. So, that's all for the summary of the proceedings. Do we have supplemental bid bulletin to be issued or issued already?
Sa ngayon, Mr. Vice Chairman, wala pa po tayo nare-receive na bid bulletin galing sa ating ang tawag ito, implementing unit. Subalit kung merong darating, i-focus po namin sa PhilJEP, sa DPWH website para makita ng ating mga prospective bidders. That's all po, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much. Okay, Secretariat. So, antabay na lang po kayo just in case na mayroong mga changes na or may mga adjustment na kailangan gawin. So, are there any other matters to be discussed? So, if none, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you very much.